Hello and welcome to Key Factors presented by theraceguide.com.au. Not in the studio tonight, as you can see, from the home office. Stu Rich and Mike Wood here to take you through another card of racing this weekend at Royal Randwick. And, well, Mike, I mean, all this situation we've got on at the moment, I know you had some big plans getting up to Queensland. Of course, you missed the Grafton Cup as well.
Yeah, thoughts with everyone at home. It's been hard. Grafton was on the agenda. Queensland was on the agenda. A great Queensland holiday, but we're all in difficult times. Hope everyone's having a decent time at the moment during these difficult times. And our job, I guess, is to find some winners tonight, Stu.
Yeah, absolutely. Full credit to all the racing industry. This great sport of ours still just charges ahead. But, Mike, look, we've had a bit of time on our hands, as you know, so we've had a little bit of tweaking to the race guide and a few changes tonight on Key Factors.
Yeah, the key factors have been going for a few years now. We like to change it up every now and then. So the key factors themselves have changed a bit. You'll see them during the show. And right at the end, during the ratings, we'll make a few changes there as well. Some X factors coming in late, things like jockey, extra progression or speed map. Those little things we find in the form guide late.
Okay, so always got to keep tinkering with that. Well, let's have a look to Randwick meeting this weekend. And as always, eyes on the skies, Mike. We just had a little scud of rain come through in the eastern suburbs late on Thursday. But how about all this wind? How's that going to affect us?
It's going to be windy on Saturday. It's been a winter of track bias. So if you're betting midweek, be very, very cautious. The rail's out 9 metres. There's definitely been lanes at Randwick, and the inside ground was hot when the rain came last week. We think it's going to be drying into the soft range, but watch out for that near rails bias. They could even get out very, very wide late, Stu. I just don't know.
Okay, yes, we're going to have a good look at that. And let's have a look at the card of racing. And, well, since we've been off air just on a freshen up, Mike, we've seen the start of the midways, and this is the third one this weekend, and we thought we'll have a little go at it.
We're going to do it. There's a lot of key factors there. 10 races, 4 or 5 key factors. But we're just going to stick to 5. We've only got 20 minutes. So races 1, the 2-year-old race, which is interesting. Race 4, 6, 7 and 8, including the midway, like you say, Stu.
All right, well, let's get in nice and early, as you say. Race number 1 at Randwick this weekend. For the 2-year-olds, it is a handicap over the 1,400 metres. As we have a look at the market, it's Honey Creeper there at $2.50. Well supported as well, a Teofilo filly. Powered to the line at Newcastle, then ran on behind Tycoonist and Bazooka there, of course, over the 1,300 metres. We've got War Eternal, a Piero colt. Couldn't make match motors there with Dragonstone second up, but we know that form's been franked last week. Miss in Charge, $5.50. The Hinchinbrook filly exploded away over the 1,250 metres once clear at Canterbury. Then it's out to Revivalist at $7.50. The Shalar colt ran on strongly at Newcastle, getting the maiden out of the way over the 1,200 metres, and then out to Timpanus at $11, Mike. But the 2-year-olds are going to kick off key factors.
Yeah, 2-year-olds, and this was a 2- and 3-year-olds race, a very rare race at Rosehill a couple of weeks ago, and there wasn't that much bias this day, but maybe Rails and Run was slightly better in race 1, and she's back on the inside. She's bred to stay, and she probably was in the right spot. But the form rating was very strong. Up in distance has to be a plus. The question is whether she goes to Melbourne or Sydney on Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned bred to stay, Mike. I mean, you look at these early season 2-year-old races and, well, late season, but 1,400 metres, importantly, this weekend.
Yeah, it's big tick for this going up in distance. And, yeah, bred to stay. Could get the 1,800 metres at Flemington as well, obviously.
Okay, so we've got to have a look at the breeding here on all these 2-year-olds. Well, let's have a look at War Eternal now. Of course, this is the Piero colt and this Dragonstone form, Mike. I said it in the preview. This form was obviously franked last weekend, but Rachel King was on board this day.
War Eternal just so tough. Led, kept sticking on, heavy track. You've got to love this 100 metres. Last 100 metres behind a very decent horse, but it's coming from Warwick Farm to Randwick. Can the Bjorn Baker horse do as well away from his home track?
Okay, one of many, many questions, as always, for the 2-year-olds. So let's look at a couple of replays for race number 1. And as we get into all the key factors here, Mike, we're going to be running our own little mini race, looking for the gold at the top right-hand side of the screen. So who have we got to start off?
Well, we haven't got much between Honey Creeper and War Eternal based on times, but a lot of people out there have Honey Creeper on top. Either way, they're definitely the top 2 raters.
Okay, so it's War Eternal there, the one to catch. Now we delve into the key factors, Mike, and we've got stage of preparation to kick things off.
Yeah, slight question for Miss in Charge. I think it's 3.5, almost 4 weeks until last run, so that's a bit of a risk. Honey Creeper improving into the prep. War Eternal as well.
Okay, so War Eternal and Honey Creeper. Gee, these two favourites, they're right out in front, but there goes the second favourite, War Eternal. Track and distance gets a nice kicker.
Well, yeah, 1,400 metres, the way it found the line. I guess 11 to 14, there's probably more scope for improvement, but it's definitely not a knock for Honey Creeper.
Okay, all right, so the favourite there with a bit of ground to make up. It gets a bit of gold here, though, with the conditions.
Strong types that should be fine in the wet. They're both very, very hard to beat.
Okay, so War Eternal there and Honey Creeper way out in front of the rest of the field here, Mike. So, well, there we go. War Eternal straight out of the box and, of course, the favourite there. So let's bring it all back into consideration here, Mike. And I guess this is where we're changing things up a bit here as we go through. We've obviously got the prices there, but we're rating a few things here. And it's Bay of Kiel there that's got a bit of gold as well. The reduced choice, faint perfume filly. Only start with, well, it was wide and green, wasn't it? Behind, of course, 4 moves ahead.
Yeah, you can rate some things, but you can't rate everything, can you, Stu? And Bay of Kiel's first run, back on the Kenzo, racing greener, like you say. She's out of an Oaks winner as well, 1,400 metres first up. And the trial was very good just behind Dragonstone. If you're choosing between the favourites, it's War Eternal for us. We rated that second up run very well. Maybe check the yard at Randwick to see how it goes. But Bay of Kiel's a sneaky one with the X Factors down on the weights.
Okay, X Factors here on Key Factors. I like it. It's a good little change up to kick things off. Well, let's get into race number 4 now. It's the City Tats Club Cup over the 1,800 metres, benchmark 78 under handicap conditions. And it's Le Chevalier, very well supported, into $2.40 at the moment. 2 good Sydney runs. Unlucky to first go, then latest running on strongly there with form around Omudji and, of course, Badush. And then it's to Zing, $3.80. Form also ties in from 2 starts ago with Le Chevalier. The jury is out for many, though, out to the 1,800 metres last start, but it was very good to the line. So they're dominating the market here. Omudji, well, there we go, since gone on to win at the midweeks. And there's Badush as well. So a lot of similar form lines in this race over the 1,800 metres, Mike.
Very similar form lines for these favourites. They raced a couple of starts ago. Randwick on a wet track. We have to have a look at that. Zing, she just about had every chance, but she was very strong. She was tough to the line. She's a tough type. But Le Chevalier was held up just a bit right here, which is obviously gets an unlucky flag in the race guide. Then it comes to the inside, and it was a bit of an off-rails bias day this day. So you have to say Le Chevalier probably should have beaten Zing home, and she gets a big weight turnaround on Saturday, and she gets James McDonald.
Oh, wow. So a few big pluses there. We'll probably see a few in the Key Factors there, Mike. But is it a horse that just seems to always strike a bit of trouble?
Maybe, but it's very, very tough and very strong on wet tracks. So it will need luck from barrier 1, though.
Okay, well, it's obviously very favoured in the market. Let's have a look outside of those that we previewed in the market here. We're talking about McGeehan here. Now, Mike, this is Canterbury. It's 1,900 metres, so we know this horse can stretch out in trip. It's third up now. It's gone from 12 to the 15, now looking at the 1,800 metres.
Well, wet track, 1,800 metres, middle of winter. We're looking for those maturing stage with upside that are very, very strong to the line, and this guy ticks all the boxes. He was dominant this day, beating Phil of Fun, who won a couple of times after this. If you look at his runs, this preparation first up was too short, and second up, 3 wide, no cover, out sprinted. He found the line quite well late at Rose Hill.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, love the way that horse hit the line there, of course, over the trip. So we know this horse does have the miles in its legs. So let's have a look here, Mike. All the form, Le Chevalier right out in front here, as you'd expect for the dominant favourite.
So well weighted, loves Randwick. We'll go through that soon, but yeah, very, very hard to beat.
Okay, look at the whole host of them there trying to catch up. Let's see if any of those can get some pull back here on the favourite as we have a look at the Key Factors, Mike. And stage of prep, well, Badush is one of those that's favoured here.
Yeah, Badush improving into his preparation. Anne Moretti's had a funny prep. Second up, 1,800 metres was too far, but the freshen up in the last start run was better. McGeehan and Un-American have some upside too.
Okay, so plenty of those outside of the market there with some gold bars. What about the track and distance here? Le Chevalier, as you said, and Zing there, of course, with a little bit of gold too.
Well, most of them fine. Le Chevalier just looks like a wet Randwick type, doesn't she? Athletic, very tough. Badush hitting the line just okay. I want to see him. And Omudji should be fine, but no gold bar for him.
Okay, and there's Amaretti peeking its head out at any old odds down the bottom there. But Le Chevalier, in these conditions, as you said, you think it's pretty much just going to revel in these.
I think she loves it. Amaretti should love a wet track as well. And McGee and the toughie, he should like it too.
Okay, so a few of those late that are going to love the conditions there this weekend at Randwick. So, well, let's have a look at the ratings here, Mike. And I mean, the X Factor horse here, who have we got? Because Le Chevalier was so far out in front there. Let's light a few of these up to see who's got the X Factor here in race number 4. And, well, McGee and Mike, you say this horse, I mean, it was beaten 5 lengths by the favourite Le Chevalier last start. And, well, a few of these top raters as well with some X Factor in there as well, Mike.
Well, I think that's the key, isn't it? These top 3 are hard to beat. Plus, I got a bit of X Factor. Le Chevalier, James Macon's a big plus. Amaretti, Tommy Berry, getting into his prep now is a big plus. And McGeehan, he settles outside the lead properly, and he's never been to Randwick, but he just looks like he'll love it. So I think one of those 3 horses wins on Saturday, and a couple of them at huge odds, Stu.
Okay, yeah, your Randwick types. That's all about the profiling in the raceguide.com.au, especially when horses jump away from a track to a track like Randwick this weekend. So which way are we going to play it, mate, in race number 4?
Well, best bet, I think we got to go Le Chevalier. She's tough. She likes Randwick. She's got the best form. She's well weighted. J Mac's on. The key factors could go on and on, but McGeehan's the one we found down in the weights. Kathy O'Hara will push forward, and he'll stick like glue at the finish.
Okay, so plenty of positives there for the favourite, but a few nice things to be said there about McGeehan as well at some odds. We are 2 down this weekend at Randwick. Plenty more to come after the break. Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by the raceguide.com.au. As we delve deeper into the Randwick card this weekend, the third race we're going to have a look at, it's race number 6, and it's an edition of the Midways, the first one we've had to cover here on Key Factors. Over the 1,200 metres this weekend, benchmark 72. And as I said, it's week number 3, so it's just field. It well supported, $6 into $4.40. Huge run in the first midway, weaving through from last, finishing ahead of Wanda and, of course, Catapult in the same race, bringing in the same form lines. We've got Henschel, $4.80, racing well at the Provincials. Absolutely brain them at Kembla, off a distinctive betting drift as well. We've got Wanda there, $6.50. J Ford sticks after being held up before running on with Just Field in that race. We've got Get the Idea there, $7.50 as well. Keegan Latham stayed wide the trip on this, but Warwick Farm at first start for Gregory Hickman. And then we go out to $8.50 for Catapult. Of course, back last there with Just Field. And then it's Above and Beyond. Resuming here, always niggled in his only trial. And then it's Miss Fox as well at $11, running on well last couple of races, Mike. But Midway, how have you liked these, mate? Have you been getting involved over the last few weeks?
Oh, I think I'm halfway there, mate. We'll see how we go. Let's have a look at a couple of replays, and we've got to have a look at the first one, don't we? Because there's so many unlucky runs coming through this last midway. 1,100 metres, Rose Hill, Just Field, at the back, held up, blocked, tightened, and flew home late. Wonder was held up as well, and he was strong to the line. He was only first up, don't forget. Catapult, a little bit of trouble, strong to the line. Buck and Beauty was 3 wide, no cover, and she wasn't bad. I don't think it was the strongest form reference, but I don't think it's a strong midway again on Saturday. So each of these horses have got their chance.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to be these sort of races, aren't they, Mike? They're going to be always big fields. You're always going to get some hard luck stories, and, well, that's what we saw here with a few.
Yeah, definitely Just Field should have won. And Wonder, his Randwick starts are okay, despite what the stats say.
All right, well, let's have a look at the second favourite here, of course, Henschel. This is the smart missile gelding, and it's going to go forward again this weekend, you'd expect. That's exactly where it was this day. But it did drift $2.90 out to $5 here, but absolutely smashed them in the end, Mike.
Smashed them with a big, big kick, though, don't forget. 2 starts ago, he was too keen back on the inside and quickened and peaked late. This day, he got to the lead, gave a big, big kick, and in just the last 50 metres, 100 metres, he's definitely tiring. I don't think he's the finished product. It's definitely worth a throw of the stumps coming to Randwick in the midway on Saturday, but I wish he was stronger late, Stu.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Just having a look at that last 50 metres there, always important as we have a look to these races on the weekend. All right, so there's a couple of weekend replays, I should say, for the midway this weekend. So it's Just Field here, Michael, with the form. It's the one they've all just got to catch.
Well, we flagged her as so unlucky last start. We couldn't use that rating. If you go back a couple of starts ago, look at some of her form, she rates clearly on top.
Okay, so all those unlucky runs are going to stick out in the race guide when you have a look at it. Let's get into the key factors here, Mike. So we've got Just Field way out in front for form. Can any of these others catch up here at stage of prep?
Well, Wonder's second up, he could improve, but he's pretty good fresh as well, so we didn't give him a gold bar. Catapult can definitely improve second up, and Kawakini getting fitter as well, but she gets a long way back.
Okay, yeah, so a couple there at odds with a little bit of gold. So stage of preparation is always going to be an interesting one for these midways as the the trainers target these races. Next one we're going to have a look at, Mike. How's it going to go?
Well, 11 to 12 track and distance, Catapult's definitely a plus. If it was 13 or 1400 metres, he would be a big bet, but maybe the 12 is just a little bit short still.
Okay, so it's Catapult there with a little bit of gold coming through the key factors. Now conditions, there's so much on the line this weekend with the conditions.
Tiny question for Just Field, but the wind should help her. If it was very heavy, it would be a risk, but I think it's going to dry out enough. Wonder, like I said, his wet Randwick runs are okay. 2.5 lengths off high-low the last time he was here.
Okay, well, we couldn't regress Just Field at all there throughout the key factors, so it was out in front the whole way. Henschel there, we've got Wander as well, a couple of bits of gold there for Catapult. So a few of these have made a little bit of a charge. So Just Field, I mean, $4.40, the money's come. Let's have a look at all the market now with all the ratings, Mike. So, all right, so we've got the trainers there, obviously targeting these midways. Just Field's back for more, Wander's back for more. Epic Dan there's only a length behind at $34 here, Mike. But how do we look at X Factor in the midways?
Well, we haven't got any, Stu, so there's no X factors to go to, so we can stick with looking at these top raters. Just Field, Wonder. Epic Dan, like he said, was the sneaky one. He's definitely a good horse for your trifectas and exotics, etc. Henschel, I know he's up there in the ratings, but I don't think he's the finished product yet. And Catapult, I think 1,300 metres, 1,400 metres would be better. The same for Above and Beyond. So we're left with the top two. Just Field should have won last start, and this is her chance. And Wonder as well, very hard to beat.
All right, so Just Field there and Wander to keep up their good record in the midway this weekend. Now it's on to race number 7 over the 1,800 metres, benchmark 88 under handicap conditions. And we could have thrown a blanket over a few of these last time out. Moober is Great House and Opacity there last start, but it's Great House, the favourite here at $3, the ex-Irish import. It's had a win at each of its Australian starts, preparations, I should say. Good to the line when it laid in behind Moober is over the 1,800 metres. Opacity at $5. Left a gap along the inside for the eventual winner, Brutality, last start. Canasta, $6.50. Stuck on well, didn't it, after leading at such a strong tempo there. 1,500 metres, now out to the 1,800 metres is the query. Moober is at $7. What a great prep this horse is having. J-Mac just jumps on to try and keep it going even more. And then it's out to Steely, who sustained a long run at latest over the trip under Josh Parr riding, who is 2 from 2 on this horse, so he knows it well. But as we said, Mike, a lot of these come through the same race, and there was not much splitting them at the end.
Absolute blanket finish. The first thing you got to say is Great House gets the trail behind Moober and doesn't go past it. It was $1.90 this day, and it's very short again on Saturday. I don't see why it's that short. I guess third up is a plus, but still very short. Tory Joy, you don't see it, but she worked very hard early, and I thought she was brave late. And Opacity, this is Rose Hill, don't forget. His best form is on a wet Randwick.
Okay, so another one of those horses that's really going to appreciate coming back to the track and surface that it loves. And, well, what about Canasta? This guy's going so well. I'm pretty sure we were on this day, Mike. We were absolutely willing at home there out in front. But how's this horse going to go out to 1,800 metres?
No, I think you might. Maybe I was on a little bit, but I think mine was further back in the field, unfortunately, Stu. He's tough. He sticks on. 1,800 metres should be okay, but he's the biggest bias horse you've ever seen. He sticks like glue to the rails. He's got magnets in his offside. He just can't get off the rails. So if it's hot rails inside leaders, he's probably a $2.50 pop. But if they're getting out wide on the track, it could be a $20 pop.
Okay, so the quirkiness of that sort of horse could either bring itself undone, or it could be the makings of it, depending on the conditions. Well, let's have a look at the form here, and we'll look at these. They're all coming through the same, well, a lot of them are coming through the same race there, Mike, so we're going to give them all form.
Pretty much, and Steely was good last start too, beating our horse Lakeen, unfortunately.
Oh, yes. We've had a few bad beats over the winter, but we're here to win some cash this weekend, Mike. Key factors, race number 7. Let's get this one started.
Well, Great House can improve third up, but he was pretty good in the yard second up, and accountability can improve as well, but he's not going that well this prep so far.
Okay, so Great House just with its neck out in front for the key factors here, but look at that wall chasing. Track conditions. Now, you mentioned this a couple of different times through the replays, Mike. Who's this going to suit?
Well, a couple of kickers coming for opacity. First of all, back to Randwick's a plus.
Okay, so opacity there goes out by a length from a Great House. And, well, Mike, with so many of these coming through the same race, it's interesting there to have a look that the form was all lit up together. Now we've sort of got a different price in the market that we're going to have a look at. So let's have a look now, because it is Great House at $3 here. That's the important thing. Opacity, as you say, back to Randwick could be the makings of this horse.
Yeah, I think that's a big plus for him. As we've been talking about, the form's the same as the rest. Randwick's a couple of length kicker. Barrier 1 should be no fault on Saturday, depending on the bias. Canasta could have some X factor on Saturday. It all depends on what the final factors are, what the bias is like, what the pattern is like. But Tory Joy's one we're going to light up. She worked hard to get outside the leader last start. I think she'll get there easier, and she sticks like glue, just like McGeehan does.
Okay, no surprise to see a horse that you absolutely love there with the X Factor. Tory Joy there, Mike, at some nice odds this weekend. Is it going to feature in the bets, though?
Yeah, Opacity and Tory Joy, they're both like a wet Randwick, 1,800 metres. They both stick like glue. You can't go wrong backing both.
Okay, so Opacity and Tory Joy there in race number 7, which leaves us now with our final race we're going to preview. It's race number 8, 1,400 metres, benchmark 88 to finish the day. And Oscar Zulu, the well-supported favourite here, into $3.90, moved up to win strongly, claiming his hat-trick over the 1,500 metres last start. Surf Dancer, very interesting here, had a lot of support, $13. Did that really last? Into $5, the Lope de Vega UK import for Gay and Adrian, showed speed at its latest trial. Blondo, $5, weave through, chasing Mirror Vision last start. And there is Mirror Vision at $7, having such a great preparation. And then It's Lily. Well, I said it was tested in Group 3 grade in Brisbane, obviously not asked to do much in a recent trial, so we know this horse can perform as well. But how about these imports, Mike? The money always seems to come, doesn't it?
Very hard to line up. Good stables can win, but we're not going to go back to those replays because it's all about how they've acclimatised to Australia. Oscar Zulu is flying, but he is way up in the weights, and he had the perfect trail this day. They went a hot speed, and they kind of split the pack into two. So it's kind of a race of 3 horses up front and a race of the rest behind. He won that race of 3, but he only beat Canasta by a little bit at equal weights. And if you look at the weights versus Blondo, he's not very well treated on Saturday.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's very interesting. And, of course, we're seeing Canasta there, who we've already previewed. But a horse in form is Oscar Zulu. Now, It's Lily, Mike. We're going to take you back here to the old Muswellbrook Cup a couple of months ago. And, obviously, good luck to Dwayne Dowell, who's left Muswellbrook heading to Newcastle. Now, Mike, these horses, they came so wide this day. Of course, Star Spangled Radio in the red, but it's Lily, the one we're having a look at just inside it.
Well, there are only really 2 strong chances, and they both came to the outside rail for really no reason. They got pushed out there. It's Lily, Star Spangled Rodeo. The Star Spangled form rates well against Saturday grade. It's races well fresh on a wet track, and she gets J-Mac. Big chance on Saturday.
Okay, yeah, and I like the little tick over trial there. Okay, let's have a look at the form here, Mike. Race number 8, Oscar Zulu. Well, as we've said, this horse is just flying at the moment.
Yeah, it's a gold bar based on the numbers, but he did have every possible chance last start.
Okay, all right, interesting. So just a length ahead here of Surf Dancer. Very keen to see how these imports are going to go this weekend. So the key factors, we obviously don't know too much about these imports, Mike. Stage of preparation.
It's a big one for It's Lily. She loves being freshened up. It was a very nice, quiet trial, and Cordia can improve, but has to.
Okay, so some gold bars through the middle there. Now, track and distance this weekend.
Well, I think Blondo likes Randwick better than his home track, so a bit of a kicker. He can sprint at Randwick okay. It's Lily likes a wet Randwick, or likes Randwick and Cordia. 1,400 metres is better.
Okay, definitely been a theme tonight. You've found a lot of these horses that are stepping away either from Warwick Farm or Rose Hill to Randwick this weekend. And, well, the conditions, Mike, as always, is going to be important.
Well, Blondo loves it wet, and It's Lily is an absolute swimmer, Stu.
All right, so some swimmers there late in the day at Randwick on Saturday, but it's Oscar Zulu out in front with Blondo. And well, as we have a look at this market, Mike, it was $3.90 Oscar Zulu, Blondo and Surf Dancer. Well, look, they're all right there. They're all in the market. But when we're talking about X factors, these imports, they are simply an X factor. The money can come and the punters can win, or all the money can come and the punters can also do their cash.
Who knows? Yard, big yard watch late, cover bet at least, or a big bet if you like them. Oscar Zulu, bet against, I guess, because we talked about the perfect run. And Blondo, geez, he's okay, but he's only ever won first up and second up, and he just peaks that little bit at 1,400 metres, so he needs a good ride. And Surf Dancer, like we keep saying, we just don't know what he's going to do. So it leaves us with the next line. It's Lily Tough, wet tracker at Sambro. I know he never wins, but he's off a lower mark now this year, and he can do something on Saturday.
He has come into our tips over the years, old Sambro. Let's get him home. But it's Lily there as a best bet for us in race number 8. Well, there's a look at 5 big races this weekend. Plenty more to come after the break, the $100 hot seat and all the other best bets for the Randwick program.
I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you.
Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. We've only had a look at 5 races in depth this weekend. Plenty more on the card at Randwick. I know you love a wet Randwick, Mike. Is it going to be drying out enough? Where are we going?
Soft 6, soft 7, I think. War Eternal tough on pace at 310. Private Agent down the outside of 290. Kinlock, James Mack back on, likes the wet. Le Chevalier, geez, it's short now, but it's very, very hard to beat. Morton's Fork, the roughie the day at $41. Justfield flying home. Opacity loves Randwick. It's Lily loves Randwick. Fortune Seeker will love Randwick. And Irish Angel loves the 1,000 metres, Stu.
Okay, a few there that are going to absolutely love Randwick. And, of course, the punters do as well, but they're going to be at home. They might just have $100 to play with this weekend, Mike, from the comfort of their lounge room. So where can we tell them to put that $100 over the weekend? Nice and spread out here.
Royal Zell kept us warm over the winter, winning before the break. McGeehan, big roughie, $10 each way at $23. Morton's Fork for midfielder can definitely do something way down in grade. And then Opacity and Tory Joy, Randwick 1,800 metres, ideal.
Some absolute massive value there through the $100 hot seat. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. It's been interesting here from the house. But have a great day to everyone involved at the races. For those that can't get there from the couch, hope you win some money. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next week.